Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. We are still on the split screen, which we will be for the remainder of the week.
Yeah.
I'm here in New Jersey. Carla Marie is at home base in Seattle.
The command center.
But you're coming to New Jersey today?
Yep, I fly into New Jersey tonight.
And I know that you want to talk about the case with Gabby, the hiker, with her boyfriend. We're going to get to that in a little bit because there's a couple of questions that we can get to from that whole tragedy. But I know we also have the hype train going on right now, and it would be a really weird thing to try to balance both of those things out. So,
fair.
The other thing I want to do while the hype train is still going, and remember, if you follow, subscribe, gift a subscription, like Shauna from West Virginia just did with 5 gifted subs.
Thank you.
Or cheer with some bits. All of that fills up the hype cup, fills up the hype train, and once that gets through to level 5, to the end of it, we'll usually take a shot.
Los just said, we're switching coasts. I'm off to Seattle tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Cool. What are you doing out here?
Do you want a cat sit?
I have a sitter. And all the cats seem to be doing trending in the right direction. I just checked Erica's tooth, which I told you came out on Saturday, and it looks like the new tooth completely grew in, which is insane to think about.
It was probably pretty close to growing fully in if the other one was pushed out, you know?
They're like sharks. Animals are insane.
They are pretty crazy. Brian F0420, thank you for the 500 bits. That's really cool. Paulson University with a subscription. Getting us through. And then Josh from Indy with another 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Josh has gifted 73 in the channel so far.
That's nuts.
We just got through hype train level 5.
Sarah Beth said that same thing happened with her daughter. Her daughter's tooth fell out and her new tooth grew in right away. Kids, also weird.
Okay, well, because they're also animals, just like us. So animals, like you said, Carla Marie, are weird. You have your shot, correct? Okay, perfect. There's 2 things I want to do because I have to go get a shot, but I've been wanting to do this. I'm going to post this on Instagram later if you need the link for it. But
we hit level 5.
What?
You know we hit level 5?
I know. That's why I want to make sure I go get my shot in a second.
Oh, thank you, fam.
So there's 2 things I want to do. One, I have to go get my drink so I can take a shot along with Carla Marie. The second thing I want to do, and I will post about this on my Instagram story later, if you need the link later on, if you don't feel like hitting a link right now. But I have been traveling a lot, and everyone knows that we work with our friends at Seattle Gummy Company with their mocha shots. But every time I travel, I've been taking these guys, immunity shots, and I haven't gotten a cold or anything. Of course, I'm vaccinated as well, so I don't get COVID. But with everything else, because I remember anytime I used to travel, I would always end up with a cold or a sinus infection or something like that at the end of a lot of travel. So if you're interested, if you're going to be traveling anytime soon, immunity shots from Seattle Gummy Company, they're awesome. You take 1 a day. The pack has 4 of them in there. So and for a quick weekend trip, it's fantastic.
They taste good also, and code CMA also gets you 15% off those.
All right, so I'm going to go grab my shot. You're going to explain what you're drinking, Carla Marie. And more with Seattle Gummy Company, too. I'm sorry, with Seattle Cocktail Club.
They need to just merge because their names are too similar. So I have Bartender Circle, which I'll be drinking. Oh my God, what words? I'm drinking Tough Cookie, but it is a Bartender Circle shooter drink, which means it's kind of a thing that bartenders give to one another. Bartender Circle is an offshoot of Seattle Cocktail Club that they also created for bartenders. And this is like a special bartender drink. Seattle Cocktail Club, if you're in here and I'm butchering this, let me know. And I can never remember what's in it. But it tastes good. That's all that matters. It's got chocolate liqueur, butterscotch schnapps, and mezcal. It's all alcohol. So, Jordy Matthew, thank you. You said my hair looks good. I woke up this morning, showered, dried my hair, hit it with my new Beach Waver straightener real quick. And this is making such a weird noise. I guess the pressure. Can you hear that? I thought it was a cat. And I have photos of what my face looked like yesterday. I got a PRP treatment, and she went in deep into my skin. So there was a lot of blood. Like, I have a lot of makeup on right now. So it's going to be great. You guys are going to lose your minds when you see what I looked like yesterday. So be prepared for that. Thank you. I hear cats going on out here. I hear this thing making noise. I know you probably can't hear any of it, but yeah, lots of things happening. My room looks like a disaster. I'm in the middle of like packing. Well, pretty packed. Suitcase is open, but the cats are just laying all over the room. It just looks like their bedroom.
What did I miss?
I was talking about how we're going to show a photo of my busted face. Oh, Deborah, yeah, so I do still have my extensions in, but I wasn't able to get to the salon. We couldn't find a time that worked to get them moved up, meaning like they're kind of like growing out, and every few months you have to go and get them moved up. And if you don't, like they start like popping out and stuff. And I didn't have time to go. I don't want to lose any of them in Spain. So on Thursday, I'm actually going to go to Dina's Kiss and Makeup in New Jersey. She's going to take them out for me. We're going to highlight my hair. I may end up keeping them out. We'll see how I feel, but I can keep them and bring them back to Seattle and have them put back in. So Thursday afternoon, I'm going, and it's going to be my first time since February having just my normal hair.
That's kind of crazy.
I know. What if you hate me?
Me? I don't know. Claire, enjoy your meeting. We'll see you later. The other thing I wanted to do. I
love that people see your responses.
So I talked about this drink yesterday, the Lebanese haddock, which is, I guess, very similar to Sambuca. And I mentioned how when you put water in it, it goes from being clear to like this weird white, milky color. So I have a clear glass now, so I can do it. Ooh, that's way too much.
Lexi Lovesickle, thank you for subscribing.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. 13 months. That's awesome.
Yeah. Possum University said, when are you coming to train our cat? Psh, you got time this week? I will teach you. You guys have had cats before. You know what you're doing, but.
Okay, so it should change to a milky white color. There it is.
Science!
You see that?
But then it goes back.
I just don't think I put enough in there originally. So now it's like this.
Is that your steroid water?
No, this isn't steroid water. That goes straight to my butt. And now I'm not taking a full shot of this, by the way, because that's a lot. But
it goes in your butt is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like how teenagers drink alcohol now.
Okay,
straight through their buttholes.
Stop saying that. That's fake, and don't give anyone ideas. Hold on. People want you to get the egg cup and take a shot in that again.
Oh, the egg cup is in the dishwasher.
You only have one egg cup?
That's the only one I found. I don't know where my parents keep the egg cups. I opened one cabinet. It was right there, and that was the only egg cup. Maybe only one person in my house has soft-boiled eggs. Seems like...
I don't understand the reasoning of an egg cup. Can't you just put it on the counter?
Well, no. If you ever have a soft-boiled egg?
In my salad.
No, soft-boiled eggs, you like crack them open, and you kind of like eat them with a little baby spoon from the top. No? Just me?
That seems like something a poacher would do.
No, that's how that happens. I don't know. That's why you have egg cups, I guess. The Fugees are playing in New York tomorrow. What?
You know, I read that as the Fugues, and I was like, I don't know what team that is.
That's pretty crazy.
Because it's spelled wrong, and I had no idea.
So let's take this drink, Carla Marie. I am going to drink as much of this as I can, but I'm not taking this as a full shot.
Wait.
And I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm just trying to be Lebanese. I'm only doing this. This is for my ancestors. Did you explain your shot, Carla Marie?
I did.
Okay.
Whew.
Liz from Connecticut, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate you. And good morning.
Cardigan Como said, I'm going to the Jonas Brothers concert tomorrow, and there's a 90% chance of rain all day. Womp, where's the concert?
Yeah, where are the Joe Bros?
We need You Look Great ponchos.
That could be kind of fun. Make them super bright. Katz of Seinfeld was messaging me on Instagram. I forgot what concert she went to over the weekend, but she was wearing the neon yellow and said that all her friends were able to find her. It's a great concert.
Did you pack? I packed You Look Great stuff for Spain. Did you?
I have a You Look Great hoodie and a You Look Great t-shirt that I cut into a tank top, but not an actual shirt.
You need a t-shirt so we can take a picture somewhere. Cool.
I'll just do it with no sleeves.
See, no, because I tried to go with I did bring my mama's favorite, the turquoise, but I was like, I can't wear neon. Like, I don't want to be that obnoxious ass American.
Yeah. Well, you're
you're
going to
gonna-
be, for the record, because
But
we all are.
You're gonna be the obnoxious ass American who's the douchebag that cut off the sleeves of a shirt.
Yep. I figured there's going to be like a hike or something one of the days. I'll wear it there. BFC_Pika, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. We're getting very close, actually, to our September goal of 750. The only problem is we've got one more full day of a show to do it. So I don't know if we're actually going to make it. And that's okay because we don't have a full month. So maybe we don't deserve the full
We don't.
goal, you know?
There's always next month.
Dave C84, thank you very much for your gift, your subscription at Tier 1, 13 months. You ready, Carla Marie?
Okay. Shot. Oh, this is way too high.
I have a lot in here, too. Cheers.
This is a whole drink. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's not as bad with the water, but it's still pretty bad. It's for the ancestors. It's for my people. Okay, I'm good. Man, that's
okay.
really
I
bad.
put too much in my mouth and I couldn't open my throat that wide.
God. Yeah, I don't know how people drink that for fun. That's my cousin in the chat, Michelle. Oh, Michelle, I don't know if you saw it, but was it Jen and Lisa? They made another serving of the blondies, and they said it was a hit.
Yep.
Man, that stuff is bad.
Okay, wait. There was something I was going to say. Okay. Do you know,
What?
Anthony, what today is?
September 21st is the last day of summer, right?
Yes.
And it is also...
Come on. You know. You actually know it. Answer it. Don't be funny.
No, I
you
really
already
don't.
said it.
What?
How do you not remember?
Oh, do you remember that? Yeah. The Earth, Wind,
My
and Fire
favorite
song. Yeah, September.
Yes.
There we go.
My favorite song, my friend Laura, as soon as I woke up, sent me a GIF of Earth, Wind, and Fire and the whole song, the YouTube to the whole song. And there's a actually an awesome remix to the song. I'll find it before the show ends and let you guys know. But I was texting my sister's friend from her bachelorette party, who was the one who showed me the song, and I was like, "Don't forget to play our song today." And she's like, "I should be telling you to play it on the Carla Marie and Anthony You Look Great channel today." I was like, "Actually,
I don't know if we're allowed to.
we're not, but we need a You Look Great feel good playlist on Spotify."
We can make. That's easy. So then after we're done with this show, especially if you're on the West Coast and you still have a commute or something, you can listen to it on your way in.
Yeah.
I have a question. So we've got September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay. You can play that obviously in September. Then in October, like October 1st, you can play Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Yeah.
Right. Then in November, you could
Monster
play Wyclef, Gone Till November.
Oh.
Then,
Taylor Swift has the December, doesn't she?
well, you could, I mean, there's a whole album by AFI called December Underground. I just don't know if there's a song. My cousin Michelle will know this. There might
Thank
be a
you,
song
Lisa. Yeah.
called.
Oh, hold on. Lisa said Taylor Swift has Back to December, and Mighty Minnie said Linkin Park has My December.
Okay. So then what would we play in January? I don't think January has anything.
No, because January is useless.
Oh,
January's the month where we
November
all
Rain is a good
realize-
one too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. November Rain is also a very good one by Guns N' Roses. I prefer the Wyclef version of a November song, but November Rain is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh. Taylor Swift. Oh, no, it's not. It's New Year's when she says, "I'll be picking up bottles with you on New Year's Eve." That's
New
not
Year's
how
Eve,
it
yeah,
goes.
still New Year's
At
Eve
all.
though.
Sorry, Martha. She said, "Hey, January's my birthday."
No, still a
The
great
problem
month.
with
I just don't think it has
January
a song.
is People decide they're not going to drink that month, and it feels so long, and it's like really like it's winter without the fun part of winter, like the holidays.
It's the winter
and
hangover.
And everyone's like, "I got to go to the gym," and the gyms are packed, and everyone's like, "Oh my like New Year, new me." I'm like, "Shut up! No, it's not. Talk to me in 3 weeks. You're gonna be back to your same old self. I don't want to hear it."
New Year, same lame ass us.
Yeah.
Okay, so then do we have anything for February or March?
Oh, there's a January Google Dolls. Thank you, Drew.
Ooh.
Whatever your name is, I can't see. There's a lot of January songs. I don't know. We don't have February, March. There's got to be an April one. I don't know. This is boring. I don't want to do this anymore.
I want to figure out the whole calendar.
You can do that. You can release a calendar.
Okay. So the other thing, the actual fun thing I wanted to talk about today, or weird, I should say, is I was at the gym yesterday, LA Fitness in Paramus, though, not in Ballard. And the weirdest thing happened, and I kind of get it, but I was still thrown off. So I started my workout in a section of the gym where I was kind of by myself. And then I got to where all of the dumbbells and like the adjustable benches are. So they're all kind of in the same area. And there was a group of 5 or 6 18 to 20-year-old dudes all working out together.
Oh, no.
Teenagers. And the way they had split up their group, like they all clearly knew each other. I don't know if they were doing the same workout or just knew each other from like high school or college or whatever. But there was one bench in between all of them. So I asked them if it was available, if it was free. They said yes. So I start working out there. And I'm putting up like a good amount of weight now. And I think what happened while I was working in the middle of this pack of like teenagers or 20-somethings was there was this silent competition that was going on. Because right before I got there, they were all like yelling out each other's weights to each other and like, you know, being very like bro-y, meatheadish. And I totally get it because I was there too. So I'm not like, I get it.
Yeah.
But then I start putting up more weight than all of them with dumbbells. And then out of nowhere, like 2 or 3 sets into that part of my workout, they start showing off their abs to one another, but like literally on top of me. I got up, I put the dumbbells down at one point and I turned around and the one guy has his shirt up and he's like, yeah, man, I like pulled my ab right here. And they're like, yeah, but you're so cut, bro. Look at how cut you are, bro.
Were they doing that to like make fun of you?
I think they were doing it. It was almost like they were trying to prove they were like the alpha males in that group at that point.
They're probably like, this old guy thinking he's got muscles.
I think they were also probably doing that too. Like, we got to show this old guy that we're ripped or whatever. And listen, they were all in very good shape.
They're douchey high school kids from New Jersey. I expect nothing less.
And they were all at an age where, for the most part, if you put in any effort at all, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Like, it was that age. You know what I mean?
Fred the mailman said, if you don't weigh more than 175 pounds and your abs don't count, you're just skinny.
Oh, yeah. They were all like $160 max. But then the craziest thing, I was listening to them and they were talking. I couldn't tell if they were talking about actual steroids or just a bunch of crazy supplements that I had never heard of before. And I almost wanted to pull them all aside and be like, guys, you're not old enough to need any of that. Just stop eating McDonald's and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like
Jill from New Jersey said it was a gaggle of bros peacocking.
It was. It absolutely was. And I will say, if you're from New Jersey, this will only make sense to you. But one of them did have a Paramus High School t-shirt on. And if you know Paramus High School, there's a good chance all of them were from Paramus High School.
So, Andrea Rosebud said, not everyone in New Jersey is like that.
There's a lot of them, though.
Enough people are for you to be able to say everyone in New Jersey.
It's enough for the stereotype to be somewhat true.
Yeah.
Like, if you throw a rock at a mall in New Jersey, there's a good chance you're going to hit a guy just like that. That's how common it is. Now, is every rock going to hit someone like that? No. Okay.
So we have been getting a bunch of messages. I saw someone said their birthday is when we're on vacation. Someone else just said it's their coworker's birthday. And I know that today is Owen's birthday. Court and Mike, who have been a part of this show since My Day Friday, it's their son, Owen's birthday. We can't play the birthday song because you don't we don't have the whole thing.
Well, what are you plugged into?
Just the computer. I packed up the
okay,
thing,
then yeah,
so
we can't play the birthday song today. I'll have to have it ready to go.
It'll be on our playlist.
No, I think I can have it ready on Thursday, so we can celebrate all the September birthdays. on Thursday, which will be our last show of the month, actually.
Okay.
Can Anthony share where he got that T-shirt from?
Oh,
This is an old
I was just saying.
school. This is an old school Roosevelt shirt. They don't make it anymore because they actually didn't have the license for Mike Tyson, and apparently the team that owns the rights to Mike Tyson's brand is very difficult to work with. So it is not a shirt they're probably ever going to make again.
Yeah. Jill from New Jersey said, most of my New Jersey exes were in that gaggle once. And then Bihar said, there is New Jersey douche, then there's Jersey douche, which is spelled with a Z.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
They also probably all went to Rutgers. Or they're actually, one of them, I will say, one of them did have a Rutgers shirt as well.
Well, they give them out for free sometimes. Very likely. Also, the day we get back from Spain in New Jersey, so we get back on October 2nd to New Jersey, and then we fly back here October 3rd. October 2nd, Rutgers is playing Ohio State at Rutgers. But because college football is a bunch of idiots, they don't give you the time till like 5 minutes before the game starts, which I like hate that more than anything.
It's
How
2
do you
days.
plan anything?
It's 2 days before the game usually.
How am I supposed to plan? They don't even know.
I think it's supposed to be a week out now. I think they actually changed the rule to say you have to have times a week out.
So if it's a night game, I think your girl is going.
Go for it. Rutgers is gonna get stomped out, but go for it.
Undefeated.
I will say if Ohio State wins I think they're playing a game this week, and Rutgers also plays a game this week. If both of them win, there's a good chance that game will be pushed to the Big Ten's primetime spot, because I don't think they have any other big games that weekend.
NJ Brit XO, what up, girl? Hold on, I got to do a big thing for all my Rutgers people in the chat. R! They're all yelling you at home right now.
No, I don't think anyone is.
Yep, Brittany did.
You've got one Rutgers fan in the chat. Yeah, you got way more Ohio State people in here, actually.
They suck. Just kidding. Love you guys. Okay. We're going to pull up my picture of my face yesterday.
Okay, let me get that ready.
But the craziest thing, I opened Instagram this morning, and my friend Lauren from high school is probably the only female that I still speak to from high school. And I haven't seen her in person in 2 years. We'll randomly text, and it's like, we've never met. Like, we haven't been away from each other. And it's just like, we go back, we'll sit down like we are still in high school and torturing teachers or getting in trouble or doing like, we were each other's partner in crime in high school. And I opened Instagram, and there's a photo of her. She's 6 months pregnant and engaged. And I was like, Lauren, what the fuck? And I'm texting her about it, and she's like, yeah, it's just something we decided we were going to wait 6 months before we told anyone. They purposely were trying to get pregnant, not even engaged. And then she's like, then he proposed to me, and like, this is it. Like, people who have this timeline and judge you for the timeline, she's like, we just weren't about it. And we wanted to have so much of the pregnancy to ourselves. She's like, I didn't even tell my mom the first trimester, and she wanted to kill me. I was like, oh, her mom is like a Portuguese mom who would kick her ass. And it was just really cool to see someone who I know and love be like, yeah, I'm confident in this decision, and we wanted to wait. And I was like, listen, I totally get that. She's like, yeah, I totally get wanting to keep things to yourself. But we're talking about how she's like, listen, there are amazing moms and women who get pregnant in their 20s, but there's something so nice about knowing your own identity before you also have to get this new identity. Yeah. And this conversation happened for me before 7 a.m. today. And I was having these real life crazy conversations, and I'm just so excited for her and so happy for her. What happened?
I don't know. There's a good chance we just got robbed or something. I don't know. There was a car that pulled into our driveway a while ago. I thought they were just making a U-turn, and that was like 5 minutes ago, and then they just left, and I've never seen that car before in my life. It was a white Mercedes. So if they were robbing us, they're doing way better than we are.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't know. You want to pull up that picture, Carla Marie?
You don't even care about my pregnant story.
No, I do. I was listening.
Yeah.
And I agreed. I agreed with the idea that it is cool to have your own identity first before you give up part of your identity to another living creature.
Oh, absolutely. Angela in Spokane said, good for them. I love they kept it to themselves and all social media. A friend of mine is due in November, and they have yet to say anything about it on social media. Crazy Dream Girl said, my mom's ready to kill me just for not telling her the baby's name. I can't imagine keeping a pregnancy a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, but babies' names, I feel like you got to keep total secret. What else? Oh, Sonali said, RU versus Ohio is scheduled for 3:30.
There you go.
I don't think it'll work. We land at 2. We got to go through customs, which
That'll be difficult.
Absolute torture right now.
What, customs? Why is
you
that?
got to show your test.
Oh, that's
show
fine.
Test.
Well, we don't have to show. On the way back in, we'll have to show a test. On the way to Spain, though, as long as we're all vaccinated, which we all are, we're all good. We don't have to take a test or anything.
These countries letting in Americans are just
they're only letting in vaccinated or people who have shown a negative test.
Or if you have proof of a COVID recovery.
No, I don't think that counts. I think you still.
It is. It's literally on the link your mom sent to me.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go into these the pictures that you sent me so I can get this thing off my screen because they're gross.
Okay.
There they are.
So
they're on the screen now.
Oh, they are. So yesterday I got a PRP treatment. We probably should have warned people that if you're queasy and don't like blood, don't look at this.
Well, too late.
We'll pretend it's something else. So they take your own serum, so your white blood cells, which is pretty clear, and they put it on your face, and they basically jab tiny little needles all over your face so that the serum goes into your skin. It's basically collagen that goes into your skin, and now it like kind of regrows and makes my skin better and stronger and healthier. So that is just basically dried blood on my face. Most of it washed off this morning. I still have some bruising. That's why I'm wearing a ton of makeup. You can see it in some spots today. But I legit looked like Carrie, like a serial killer.
Yeah, you have people saying it looks like you came out of a UFC match. It looks like you're ready for Halloween.
That's what I said, Halloween. Yeah, so Kim Kardashian does this. I've been doing it for a while. There's a few different ways you can do it. I did it before my sister's wedding. We did a different way, so it didn't go in as much. I also got it. So my own blood injected under my eyes. So my eyes are pretty swollen right now. So that'll help with wait till I tell you all the things. I'm going to sound crazy. It'll help with under eye bags and just like if your eyes are sinking in. I got it injected here.
And this is all the stuff you've had injected. This is all the same thing you had injected though, right?
Like my own blood. Yeah. And then I had it put here because I'm losing my hair here. So to help with hair regrowth. And then she did it on the scar on my leg to help that skin grow better. Remember when I burned myself?
So she put the needle in the scar?
The like the little stabby one, not like the injection, just the face one. And then I got Botox here and here and here.
There's a good question. This is from Meg, who said, will your makeup irritate your skin after that?
No, so today it's fine. I'll probably wash it off before I fly today and just wear a hat because I was running around. I had to run errands yesterday, and thank God for the mask because that helps. I should have put a hat on. People were like looking at me. I had to run to Motley Crue, and I was like, I'm not dying. I just had a facial. Like, I'm okay. But no, it doesn't. It would have irritated my skin yesterday. Like, you have to make sure you're sleeping on a clean pillowcase, and you have to make sure that I'm not putting my cats in my face or touching my face, things like that. But today I'm pretty fine. I have to make sure I'm not in the sun, stuff like that. And no, it doesn't hurt. Well, they numb your face. They put on a numbing cream, like a topical numbing cream. And you wait a bit. It's not like enjoyable. And plus your nose is so numb when they go over your nose. It tickles so much that it's like almost unbearable because it's so bizarre. But I'd say the worst part was the smile lines getting injected. They burn.
Angela said, isn't this the vampire facial?
Yes, but the term vampire facial is copywritten, and it costs like, I don't know, $1 million to be able to say that. Not for me.
So a similar process, but not the name.
It's the exact same process, just not the name.
Scotty Jason, thank you very much for the subscription at Tier 1. Appreciate that very, very much. We're almost at 700, which would be pretty cool.
Also, side note, I went to Lily at Skin Spirit. I used to go to my friend Kat, who moved to Austin, and it was super sad that she left me, but I found an amazing person. Lily and my friend Kim Holcomb from King 5 goes to her, and Brooke gets facials. Brooke is on the air on Movin' on Brooke and Jeffrey in the morning, and Brooke goes there and gets her facials. So I'm in good hands. All the faces of Seattle go there, so I'm very happy.
Jill from New Jersey said, I'm about to turn 30 in December. Am I behind on the 8 ball, or am I behind the 8 ball with these treatments? I've never done anything.
No, start going now. It's honestly never too late. I'd say 30 is a good time because I started seeing wrinkles a little after 30. But if you're like 25 and you're going, that's great because your collagen is going to be like the youngest and freshest and strongest, but it's still fine in your 30s. And PRP is a great thing to start with to help with prevention. And it's really good to help kind of push off something like Botox because it's just your own skin and your own blood kind of regenerating. And
Let's see,
Andrea,
Wendy. Oh, sorry.
Andrea, no, we only know Brooke. The other name you just said should not be mentioned in this chat. I'm actually going to block it. Because
what was I going to say? There was another question. Oh, Wendy said, how can I find out if PRP is offered in my area? Probably just a Google search.
I'm sending it right now.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm going to send it now. I think, Wendy, we actually answered your question on my Instagram story. But a really cool company is realself.com.
Oh, right.
And our friend Alexis actually works there. But I had them on Side Hustlers forever ago. And it's a great way to find reputable estheticians, plastic surgeons, anything like that.
Let's see.
How do we do that?
How do you do what?
Nothing. I'm talking to myself.
Oh, okay. 33 and never had a facial. Let's see. Fred the Mailman, I do the werewolf facial. I just let the hair grow. It's kind of, you know what? It's going really well for Fred the Mailman.
Lily was like, do you think we can get Anthony in here? And I was like, for what? And she's like, I don't know. So I recently found this out. The number one treatment for men is Botox. And guys don't talk about it.
Really?
But the number one that like guys go in and they'll just get like here. A lot of guys because they're always angry at the world, I guess. And this wrinkle, when you get it, is really hard to reverse. So it's more of a prevention thing. And I was like,
so like
got some wrinkles.
Like right between my eyes?
Yeah. And you would just get there so that when you do that, it won't form a wrinkle.
I do furrow my brow a lot.
You could do your forehead probably too. No, up. Go up.
What would I look like? I don't get it.
You would look like you are right now, but it'll also smooth out lines on your forehead.
Like,
but you
do
really
I
won't
always
be able
look
to
surprised?
do that. No, I don't always look surprised. I guess my eyebrows. It's okay,
see.
Andrea. We love you.
What else? Lenny from Queens said, I have a daughter, so my wrinkles came in a long time ago.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I know we started talking about this yesterday, and I'm glad we didn't talk about it yesterday, only because I read a little more about the whole case and the people involved and some of the people that responded originally. I read all of that last night, so I think I'm a little more well-read on the subject. But if you're in the Long Island and or Florida areas, you're probably hearing more than the rest of the country is about this story. But it is a national story. Do you want to take it away, Carla Marie?
Yeah, so we found out on September 11th that Gabby Petito, a 22-year-old YouTube vlogger, like van life is a big in the YouTube world and Instagram world, was missing. And she had set out on a road trip with her boyfriend / fiance. Their relationship status is kind of confusing because they talk about how I guess at one point they decided they weren't going to be engaged because they were too young. So her partner set out on a road trip. He got back to Florida without her. And when her family didn't hear from her for almost 2 weeks, her dad went to his house where they lived with his parents and were like, where's Gabby? And we're unsure what actually happened there. That whole thing, there's like a few different things that happened. We don't know if the dad actually saw him or just the parents, but then it became she didn't come back. And that means that her fiance just left her in the middle of a national park. All we know.
Which even a best case scenario, right? A best case scenario is they got split up at some point. Both of them were disoriented, didn't know where they were. He gets back to the car. She doesn't. Even in that scenario where he doesn't do anything terrible, the fact that he just drove back, didn't tell anyone, is very suspect. And Nicole in Southwest Florida in the Twitch chat just said Northport is the town next to me. So I'm sure there's probably a lot of
it's crazy.
news cars, news vans and stuff in that area right now.
So Elizabeth said, I'm still confused why it took her family 11 days to report her missing. So I'll tell you why. They, according to her parents, on August 30th, they got a text from her number, which is fucking creepy, that said, I'm in Yosemite, no service, which was, from what we're understanding, him just using her phone. They never went to Yosemite. She likely was already dead at that point. When you go to I'll text my mom when I get to a national park and be like, hey, I might not talk to you for a week. So you just, because you don't know what your service is going to be like. And for someone like her who is doing this all the time, her family probably understood it. So that sucks, the timing wise. So he is now on the run. No one knows where the fiance is. Her body was found a few days ago at a campsite where they were expected to be staying. But the only reason her body was found is because a YouTuber had been filming, or someone who has an RV, their camera was just driving, was on their truck as they were driving. And when they were going back through footage, they noticed, hey, that looks like the van that's all over the news. And her body was found yards away from where the van was. If that person didn't have that footage, who knows how long this would be going on for, because it was at a dispersed camping site, not like a place where there's like a number. Like, we've stayed at places like that, and it's very, very remote. So there's a lot, and I'm going to preface this, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people trying to use this story for their own clout, which is really fucked up. Like, take that energy and find the thousands of other people that are missing right now. Because her body has been found. Stop trying to solve the crime. And also, there's all these TikTokers that are like, Brian posted this, or he did this. And it's like, stop both posting it everywhere, because he's seeing what you're finding, and it's just helping him get away from the police more. Now, with that said, in the middle of August, a couple saw Gabby and her fiance partner getting into a domestic fight. They saw him slap her. They called the police in Utah. The police showed up. The body cam footage of that is actually one of the most disturbing things you can watch, because the police are joking with him. This guy that the people just saw slap his girlfriend in the face, and she's like, I'm fine, like, I don't want anything bad to happen, I'm just having a mental breakdown, we've been traveling together. Like, she's clearly broken, but they separate them for the night. It's when you respond to a domestic situation, it's tough, because if the female says, I don't want anything done, there's really not much you can do. However, they are trained to know the telltale signs of an actual domestic abuse. And if something would have been done, she'd still be alive right now. Yeah, that's what's fucking crazy.
I did read, so there was, all of the police officers who responded were men, but there was a female park ranger who also arrived. And I was reading her whole story yesterday, because there was a whole interview with her. I forgot what the news source was. And she's really the one that took over talking to Gabby. And one of the things she kept saying was like, yeah, she obviously feels terrible, because now she knows if she's wondering, had she done more, had she pushed a little harder, said the perfect thing for Gabby, maybe she would have gotten out of that situation. But she also talks about how difficult of a situation it is, because this happens dozens of times a month, unfortunately, and with law enforcement officials everywhere, where they're called in for a domestic dispute, and the evidence that they can actually go on, whether they're trying to make an arrest or separate people, is usually not abundant enough
tangible
to do anything. Yeah. So she even talks about how the fact that, I guess, the boyfriend or fiance, whatever, had scratches on his face. And through both of their stories, because they matched up, I guess he had locked her out of the car at some point, and she tried to get in, so she scratched his face. And at that point, now the cops have to say, well, the only physical evidence that we really have is scratches on his face. And that doesn't mean that, and all of them have said the same thing. We all know what probably happened, but we can only do what we can with the information available, the actual evidence available. And that's what made it so difficult. And even the female park ranger says, like, I know that none of the things I'm saying now make sense, because hindsight is 20/20. But when you're in the moment, all you're allowed to do is deal with the evidence that you have in front of you. You can't speculate too far down the line.
That female park ranger told Gabby, your relationship
Mm-hmm.
seems toxic and you should start thinking of another path. And who knows what happened? Maybe Gabby took that advice and said to him, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. And who knows, like, I don't know. I mean, I've gone down the rabbit hole of his Instagram, and my sister knows, like, she's followed it so much. She's found his family on LinkedIn. Like, it's like gone way too far. And no one knows what happened between the two of them, and I don't think we'll ever know. I personally think he's also dead at this point. Or he's I don't know, just hiding. Like, what is he going to do for the rest of his life? Hide? I don't know.
So this is where, and you mentioned that your sister found his family on LinkedIn. And if you saw the notification for this Twitch chat, what I put in the little notification bar was, what would you do if you're a parent? What would you do in this situation? And what I keep thinking of is, obviously our hearts go out to Gabby's entire family, friends, everyone that she knows, because it's got to be super difficult for them right now. But for him, your son returns home without his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was home for a little bit.
Well, but now they're still unsure if, I guess the van got home. So yes.
And no, so the one thing I read was that he also had a Ford Mustang, and that was the last vehicle he was in before he went missing. So he took the Ford Mustang from his family's home, went on a hike, and then allegedly left a note on the car saying that he wasn't going to come back and it needed to be removed. But I say allegedly because his family found the car before the authorities did. So they're saying that there was a note on the car.
Yeah, I also heard that the note on the car was a police note, according to the news story I watched yesterday. So
that could have been updated from the last time I heard about it. But my question is, as a parent, right? I don't think any parent, as terrible as you can possibly be, raises their kid to be a possible murder suspect. So with that said, your kid returns home from what was supposed to be a road trip with their partner without the partner. Then you find out that that person's missing, and your child is a possible suspect, is a person of interest in the disappearance of this human.
Or not even that. You get home and you're like, where's Gabby, your fiance / girlfriend who lives here with us? Like, what do you say to that?
What do you do? Do you keep an eye on your kids so that you know where they are? And if the authorities need them, you can connect the dots for the authorities. Or do you do what this family possibly did and help the kid escape because you don't want to see your child in prison for the rest of their lives, possibly? And as much as I assume I would love my child if I ever had one, I can't imagine helping them escape in that situation or helping them cover up that situation, because I would also know how much that other family is hurting and that my child possibly did something to cause that.
I think it all depends what they did. If it's like you're a vicious cold blood killer, yeah, you need to be not, because who knows what the hell they're going to do to you. I mean, or anyone else for that matter. I think there are certain things that parents would help their kid, like, I don't know, accidentally knocking over a mailbox, like different, less things.
Yeah, if my kid
cold blood murdering.
Of course, there's things that I would help my kid stay out of trouble for. And as heartless as it might sound, I would probably turn my own kid in if that was the case, because at some point, if you do something that egregious, in my opinion at least, no matter who you are, you've got to face the music. You've got to face the consequences of your actions.
Sam brings up a good point. I don't cover for my kid. I would want that if my child was the victim.
Exactly.
And I think you need to put yourself in that position. And yeah, his parents were taken in yesterday for questioning, and I don't know if they're in holding or something now. I checked this morning. It didn't seem like there was much new information, even cause of death. From what I understand, we still don't know. There was something else I wanted to bring up that was important about this, but something I do want to mention is a lot of people are like, I don't understand why this case got so much coverage. There's so many other missing people out there. Completely agree. And that's what I said earlier. the reason this case is getting so much coverage, it's not necessarily getting media coverage, it's getting social media coverage. Here's why. She's 22 years old. Who's on TikTok and Instagram? People who relate to her. People who I relate to her, but people who relate to that lifestyle of being an influencer, van life. She had a following. That's the thing. It wasn't like millions, right? It wasn't like, a household name, but she had people who knew her. So there was already a built-in few tens of thousands of people who knew of this girl through her social media and YouTube. So there was already this base of people that could start spreading the word. And that's why. Like, if I went missing, I'd expect all of you to be like, where the fuck is Carla Marie?
I think it's not just the fact that she went missing. If she had gone missing and she was on her own,
right,
then there'd be less to go with. But she was missing.
It's not a sensational story.
The boyfriend shows up 10 days later. I think that part of the story is what blew it up, not just the fact that she's missing. And yes, she was a pretty 22-year-old white girl who usually is in any sense, is going to be a media darling because that's who the media goes to. So there is part of that. But at the same time, I think the fact that there were so many known details of this case that made it such a weird mystery, not just a missing person. Because there are YouTubers and van life people who will go out completely on their own. And this is going to sound weird, but if they just went missing out of nowhere, we'd have very little to go off of.
Right. And that's what does happen to a lot of missing people. I mean, you go look right now and see how many missing people there are just in national parks. And I mean, I get the updates because I follow all the national parks, and every day there's a new hiker missing who went out there as a solo hiker. And I know, I believe it was.
There's one in Washington right now from last week. There's a dude with long hair.
And he normally hikes in bright colors. Is that guy?
Yeah.
I think, was he in Olympic?
National Park, yeah.
So, and I know Angela had mentioned something about there's a lot of stories about there's 711 Native American women missing. And like, now's the time while people are like, wait, okay, this just happened. Wait, there's more. And I keep sharing those stories as I see them, and we'll keep, that guy was found. That's good news. We'll keep sharing things as we find them. But I think a lot of people don't realize, unrelated to Gabby, when you go into a national park, you're leaving the normal world. Like, and you start going out alone. Like, I have that book it's this big, about death and danger in national parks, and it's all stories of things that happen to people. And I think part of why my sister gravitated to this so much is she kept texting me. She's like, it just reminds me of you. Like, in the beginning, before we knew what was going on fully, she's like, it reminds me of you. Like, I know you're one step away from living in a van and doing this. Like, it's scary to me. And I was like, I get it. I totally understand. And I relate to this because I've been to this national park, or I've done this, and I fully understand, all of it. And it's all just totally fucked. But that's besides the point.
And I do still think that the biggest part of her story being so big is not even her, unfortunately. It's how weird the situation is with her partner and her partner's family. Like, that's what really made the story a national lightning rod, because it's so messed up and it makes no sense. Like, there are very few people that can try to connect all these dots and make it seem like the guy and his family are not somehow all involved and know exactly what happened. Because even if, like I said, best case scenario, they got split up, and maybe they were in a domestic, like they were having an argument, they both walked in opposite directions in the middle of the wilderness, she gets lost. Even in that situation, if you're not guilty of doing something, or if you care even the slightest bit, you call the authorities and you put in the missing person report, or you call the girl's family, or you do something other than drive the thousands of miles from Wyoming to Florida and do absolutely nothing, and then tell the authorities and the news outlets that you're not doing anything to help.
Yeah, I mean, you're like...
fake it.
Yeah. And at some point, it's kind of crazy because had all of this happened, like we don't know what happened, right? But had he said something right away, I mean, she could have still been alive. Straight, like who knows if
Well,
he
no, because he probably murdered her.
or just like I don't know, beat her and left her there, and who knows? We may not ever know, and it's crazy. And I actually listened. I talked about it on here, the podcast called Park Predators, and it's all about things that have happened in national parks, murders, and a lot of them are unsolved, which is frightening. It's completely different than this situation, but it's just national parks are scary. It's a huge vast land, and things like this happen all the time. But if there's nothing that is on his side. I would hate nothing more in the world than to be this man's lawyer. Like, can you imagine? How are you going to make a case? Like, what lie are you going to tell? What lie?
Yeah.
And
How are you going to
keeps
bend
saying-
the truth to your favor?
Yeah. We keep saying in my family, like, could you imagine if I came home from a trip or no, sorry, I didn't come home from a trip and you said to my family, I don't know where she is. Like, that's bizarre. And my sister keeps saying about how, like, if that happened with my niece, my brother-in-law would have been there beating the shit out of him. Like, and that's what I think I think there was an altercation. I think that was something in the beginning that was like kind of talked about in the news and then taken away. Like, you would, if it was your daughter, what would you, if like, yeah.
I would be
this is so fucked.
Yeah, I'd be breaking down that door, getting answers. I would be
Seattle
Liam Neesoning this thing.
Yeah. Seattle Cocktail Club said, I think part of the world's fascination with the story is because social media van life has a certain privileged, perfect life undertone. And this story combines that with a crazy, insane story where we cannot comprehend a theory that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a freaking Lifetime Hallmark. Not Hallmark. That's a nice place. It's a Lifetime movie where you're like, this can't possibly happen.
Yeah. And I missed the comment earlier, but someone said it has very Casey Anthony vibes where like nothing makes sense. And it's obviously taken over the national media. And it's not a story that's going to go away anytime soon. And then there was another comment about how, oh, here we go. This is from Sam in the Twitch chat. It says, it feels scripted. We love murder mystery, fiction or non. And as shallow as it may sound, some of the public interest in this is for temporary entertainment, not empathy for anyone involved. I think there are a lot of people that are jumping on because the whole murder mystery podcast world is so big.
Well, they're actually like Crime Junkies already did a podcast about it. And I think part of theirs was just breaking it down. I don't know. Everyone's sensationalizing it. Everyone is trying to get their clout for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what we're doing. I'm like, have been like sick about this story for days, but I mean, it's big news. And how do you not talk about something like that? You just have to make sure you're not using it for your own.
Yeah. And there are, I know I saw a lot of the things going around the internet about how this story isn't an opportunity to teach women how to get out of bad relationships. It's a story about how to teach men how to not be the shitty part in a relationship. I also think it's both. I think we can try as a society and as parents will do individually to make great children. And sometimes those kids are going to suck and they're going to treat people around them terribly. And I think it's an opportunity to teach both. Be better. And I don't know how you change that. I don't know what society has to do I know what we can do on a large scale. I don't know how you change that on a family to family scale. And the other part is, yes, we need to let more young women know, and women in general, it is okay to leave a toxic, dangerous relationship. And there are tools for you to use to do that.
I can tell you right now, in high school, that should be taught. We were not learning that in high school. We were not learning how to form relationships, how to understand what a healthy relationship is. We were watching a stupid ass birthing video from the 80s. Like, we were not taught at all and that's when you're young and what your mind should be taught. And it's funny, I'm watching the show. I'm on the 3rd season of Sex Education on Netflix. It's a really great show. And it's about this high school that like all the kids are like sex positive and they understand the importance of talking about things. And it's so unlike anything that would ever happen in high school because these kids are like very mature and understanding their wants and needs and what a relationship is. And for me, I'm like, I'm learning a lot watching this show. And I look at that and I'm like, God, imagine that's what high school
Yeah.
actually was like. Imagine you learned at 15 years old what is expected of you in a relationship and what should be expected of the person you're with and what you want and what you need. And yeah, you're going to go through relationships and learn and change as you get older, but we need to understand how to respect people. And I hope this next generation understands and feels like they can't do anything wrong because of social media and they are nice people.
Well,
I don't know.
it's interesting. We've talked about this before. I think I talked about it on this Twitch stream that I have a cousin who watches The Bachelorette with his 11-year-old daughter, and he uses it. Yes, there's obviously the gossipy part that he probably appreciates about it, like the crazy part of The Bachelorette and the drama, but he uses it as a learning tool for his daughter to say, see, this is why Katie was a great example this past season. He actually texted me about it. He said, this is why Katie's reacting this way to what this guy said. That's not how a guy is supposed to treat you. That's not how men are supposed to speak to you, things like that. And I think we can try as hard as we want to teach the younger generation how to act. Because like I said earlier, I've seen a lot of things on the internet. We need to teach boys how to act, and that's 100% true. But just like we don't teach kids to be murderers, sometimes that happens. So sometimes your best efforts can still result in a kid who treats someone like garbage. And we need to treat the other side of that. We need to teach the other side of that how to get out of that relationship if they find themselves in one. So it really is a two-part learning process. How we're supposed to act to people and how we're supposed to act when we are not treated the way we're supposed to be treated.
Sonali brings up something that actually was in a video I shared the other day. And this girl talks about how, like, when we're kids, we're like 5 years old, and boys will like push girls or pull their hair. And we're always told, oh, it's because they like you and they don't know how to react to liking girls. So we're trained at 5 years old that when boys like us, they treat us like shit. And Sonali's right. Like, it does need to be taught at a younger age. And Vicky says, I have a t-shirt that says raise them kind. And it's 100% true. But you think about it, like, it actually like broke me when I saw that part of the video. Cause I cannot tell you how many times even my parents would say, oh, a boy's picking on you because he likes you. Oh, he likes me? I'll let him treat me like shit then. And I'm telling you, every person in my life as an adult from age 5 and up would say that to you. And that's not good.
No, and it definitely sets up a bad precedent forever.
It's awful.
And then I guess the best metaphor for, like, someone wrote proactive and reactive training is, fighters train for both, right? Fighters train to attack and they train to defend themselves. And that's kind of where I was going with what we need to do to train and teach the next generation of kids coming up, is teach people how to be respectful towards one another and how to have enough self-respect to get out of a bad situation. And I've talked to a lot of my friends, because I have a lot of friends in law enforcement, and out of all the crazy things they deal with, from drug busts to homicide to suicide, the most difficult thing they deal with on a daily basis, basically, is domestic violence. Because oftentimes, as much as they want to help, legally their hands are tied. And oftentimes, because our system isn't really set up to protect women, when the woman goes back, like, even if the cops or the law enforcement agents in general, even if they split that couple apart, oftentimes that woman is going to go back to that house at some point, and it's going to end up
in this case.
And it's going to end up being more dangerous.
Gabby. Yeah. Because it's like, look what you did. You got the cops called on us.
Yeah.
I know there was what went viral this summer was that Zoom video of a couple who was having domestic issues, and the judge was on Zoom with them, and they were supposed to be in separate places on Zoom, but you could tell that they were in different places. They were in the same place, but each on different cameras. And I don't know what triggered the judge to realize it. And the judge started saying, are you in the same place to her? And they weren't supposed to be, because there was a, what's that called?
Restraining order?
Can't be by someone. restraining order, that thing. And they ended up calling the police to go to the house because he was forcing her to be there so she couldn't say anything against him. And it's like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
man. Like, think about how many women are in situations like that. My mom was in a situation like that. Like, I think back to that all the time. My mom was 17 through very early 20s when she was in a super abusive relationship who was the father to her kids. And I tell the story all the time. He held a gun to my mom's head and threatened her. And my mom still somehow got out of that situation. And I don't know
But how
how. I don't
long-
think she talks about it enough.
But how long after that gun incident did she actually leave?
I don't know. I can find that out and report back.
Because even in that situation, think of how extreme that, like, put that in your head. Put that in your head. Like, there's a gun drawn from a husband to a wife. There's kids involved. And even then, I doubt she left that exact day.
Mm-hmm.
Which means there was still probably some leeway. They were still probably living in the same house after that, which is insane to think about.
They lived with my grandma, so that's even crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mellow FM said in the Twitch chat, he said, law enforcement needs to be able to have legal power to stop and prevent domestic violence cases like this. And this is one of the big problems.
I think some states.
Well, this is one of the big problems that law enforcement runs into is oftentimes in the heat of the moment, I'm trying as best I can to summarize a lot of the things that my friends have told me, is in the heat of the moment, even if the wife leaves or the girlfriend leaves in that situation with the officers and they separate everything or they arrest the husband, oftentimes if the wife or the girlfriend isn't financially stable enough on her own, she'll go back into that relationship. And it ends up becoming this cycle of law enforcement trying to do a little too much, making it even worse for this woman who isn't stable on her own, and then puts her in an even worse situation. So their hands are tied, not legally, but also morally, because they know that sometimes their actions are going to end up hurting that woman down the road more than anything else. And it's just, there's no right answer really, other than every situation is its own situation and has to be handled that way.
But the financial thing is very important. It goes back to, are we setting up women to be financially independent?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to send the link right now to, I've mentioned her on My Day Friday a bunch, but Tori Dunlap, originally based here in Seattle. I think she just moved to the UK. But her first 100K is her account. She has a podcast called Financial Feminist, and her whole thing is helping women find financial freedom. And she posts these reviews and emails from women that are like, thanks to you, I got out of my abusive relationship because I had the money to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm putting a link in here right now to her Instagram. You can find all of her information there. That is a huge, huge thing for women, that once they get financial freedom and their pets, another reason they don't leave is because sometimes you can't go to shelters with your pets. And I know Alabama talked about this on our show, that there are certain shelters that will take in your pets or hold your pet for you until you can find a new home, because that's the biggest issue for women. They'll stay because of their pets, which is insane. So just, I think, as a group, as a community, as a show, if we can talk about things like this and be more aware and notice if we see something, notice to be able to just tell friends, hey, did you know that this podcast exists? Did you know that shelters don't let females take their pets and that's why they stay in abusive relationships? Like, what can we do to help that? And I think we'll build a better society around that.
And this is also, this is going to sound like a stretch, but it's an understated reason to push for free healthcare for everybody. Because oftentimes in marriages, the women are not working. If they are working, they're not full-time employees like their male counterparts. And one of the reasons women will stay in a relationship, just like pets, just like kids, just like financial reasons, is if you have a health problem and you leave and you get a divorce and you can't get health insurance anymore, or you can't afford the health insurance that is now available, I mean, that's a life and death situation coming off of a life and death situation. And you're just stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I miss who just said this, but Dana, many women's shelters won't take boys over a certain age, so women aren't going to leave their children either.
Of course.
Mary's Place is actually a really amazing shelter here. I'm unsure of their rules, but it's for women and children who have gone through domestic abuse. And they take donations, clothing, everything. I actually have a whole bunch of stuff in the car to bring, hopefully, when we get back from Spain. And they're just a really amazing organization. I know we worked with them when we did the Amazon treasure truck, and we got to meet a lot of the families there. And what they're doing is incredible. So it's called Mary's Place. If you can reach out, find them, donate to them, just be aware of them. They are a great organization.
Yeah.
But
And sorry, you continue.
we got a message from Achilles Pet that said, loving and hating this conversation. I have a 9-year-old daughter and it's starting already. I just keep telling her that she needs to always be in charge of how she is treated. Boys, girls, anyone. She said, I also never glorify the cute boyfriend-girlfriend culture that so many parents think is funny. Too much emphasis on needing a boyfriend. Like, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That goes back to, if you're not happy on your own, you're not going to be happy with another person, but that's hard to explain to a child when everything is like all cutesy, lovey-dovey. Oh, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? Then they just think it's necessary. They don't understand the actual time and effort that's supposed to go into a relationship. And obviously we can talk about all the different things that lead to situations like what Gabby's family is going through right now. But I think if we do one thing good out of today is find that Mary's Place by you. Find that shelter, that charity, that organization that makes it easier for women to take control of their lives with their kids, with everything, and either support or spread the word about those organizations. Because every area has one. And yes, in a place like Seattle, it might be a little easier to find because it's such a populated area. If you're in the middle of Mississippi, it's probably a little harder to find that. But it's even more important in the middle of Mississippi to support those places, to shout them out, to let people know those resources are available. Because if more women like Gabby know that there are resources and help is out there, then maybe they get out of those situations and don't end up like she did.
It's awful. It's so awful.
And I promise we'll have a much happier show on Thursday.
Maybe.
I hope so.
Angela said, no, wait, sorry. I forget who said it, that a lot of men actually don't leave abusive relationships from women because they are scared of what their peers will think of them. And I mean, obviously there's much less men who are abused in relationships, but there's people too, and they're going through it too.
Yeah.
So,
and we've talked about that, and yes, it is less, and part of that is literally just because of the average size of a male versus the average size of a female. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't mental abuse. That doesn't mean there isn't stuff like that goes on. But we've talked about this before. Thank you, Dave C., for the 500 bits and the gifted tier 1 subs. We've talked about this before. There is this culture that allows women to like smack men or throw things at men, and it usually happens younger. It usually happens with teenagers and in college, where that behavior also is dangerous. That behavior also should not be allowed. Again, it's not as big of an issue as the flip side of that, but it still is an issue, and you don't want to discount anyone who could be going through something like that.
There's a lot of people in here saying some really great that Women's Space is a great organization in Central Jersey. This is why we need to launch our Discord so that people can start dropping organizations in there when we have conversations like this. And when we come back from Spain, that's happening. 100%. We'll have a Discord. Created by Cooper, who found us through Young Nails, your cousin's company, and their Twitch channel said, I was actually thinking about volunteering to give women manicures who are in shelters.
That's
and
awesome.
That's great because a lot of times it's something as simple as a manicure that makes you feel better, makes you go for that job interview, things like that. Like, it sounds so stupid sometimes, but it's actually the thing that you need.
Yeah.
I know even with cancer patients, stuff like that is a huge, huge help. So please, Created by Cooper, if you end up doing that, keep us in the loop.
This is a great stat from Seattle Cocktail Club that said 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. So it is definitely a thing for men and women. And I know we spent a lot of time talking about what women deal with today. It's more of a systemic issue, I should say, in this country. and probably in the world. But the goal is to eventually end domestic violence in either direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Which sounds like the dumbest thing I could say because, like, obviously that's the goal. But
Right.
we need
Thank you.
people to be doing things like Created by Cooper saying, to go donate some time, donate some resources, to make people in those situations confident again, to know their worth, to know their value, and not to get in a situation like that down the road.
Yeah.
Man,
Hey, we're here.
We did a
You need
lot
anything.
today.
Yeah. We went from PRP facials to changing the world.
Went from little gym bros in Paramus, New Jersey.
You should, next time when you go to the gym, you should talk to those boys about being better men and treat. I don't know if they treat. I'm not saying they treat women poorly. I'm just saying if they're young, teach them.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
that's the space for me. Hey guys,
No.
gather around while all that testosterone is flowing through you, and let me talk to you about your responsibility in the world.
You should. That is the time.
Yeah,
You should
well-
hold little. You should hold little seminars at LA Fitness in Ballard.
Listen, I spend
Little
2 hours in the
seminars.
gym a day already. I'm not trying to spend 4. I need to be
I'll go-
outside at some point.
I'm going. I'm going to teach a seminar, LA Fitness in Ballard. I'm going to be like, listen, you little punks. I'm going to go to Ballard High School and knock on their door and be like, can I talk to your students, women and men, please? Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone, for hanging out today. I am going to go to the LA Fitness in Paramus right now. Maybe I'll see those kids again. We
Send
will
a
be
pic.
back Thursday, but Thursday, Carla Marie is also going to be in New Jersey.
I don't know where, but somewhere in New Jersey.
Is Thursday when we should do some Taylor ham, egg and cheese taste testing?
I haven't decided if I'm going to eat a bagel before Spain.
Well, listen, you're going to have a whole 2 days of travel to restrict your eating if that's what you want to do. Like,
We'll see.
Are airlines international flights serving real food again? Because the flight from Newark to, I think we're going to Switzerland first.
6 hours.
That's a long flight to not eat. And Carla Marie
you
can't
know-
live without snacks.
I love snacks. Did you know that we are in the middle section of the plane? Because our seats are like J and L or something. And I'm like, I never saw those letters before.
Oh, this is like a 3 section?
I believe. Yeah, so you don't have a window to lean on. It's an overnight flight.
I'm not going.
I'm in the middle.
If it's not a window seat, I can't go.
So
Thank you to JamCD23 for the subscription of the Prime. We're at 702, so we might actually hit the goal by Thursday. There's a
I'll send out
slim
a
chance,
newsletter.
but if we can get 48 subscriptions on Thursday, we'll be good to go.
Okay, also, I'm dropping in the bingo link because Boozy Drag Bingo is happening when we get back October 20th, and it's going to be a good freaking time. It's going to be Halloween themed, and there's a chance Anthony and I will be dressed in, dare I say, couple's costume.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that. It depends on how many tickets we sell.
Okay, fair.
If we sell a whole crap ton of tickets, I'll do that.
Okay.
All right, thank
Do we
you guys
let
for
everyone
hanging
pick our
out.
costume?
We will see you on Thursday. Peace.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.